How are you today? Okay. Are you nice people? I'm sure you are. Who owns a car? Heads up, hands up. Be brave, be courageous, admit that you have cars. You do have cars. I also have a car. Now, imagine that being nice people, you are also nice to your town. You are nice to the planet. And from now on, you give up on your obsolete car ownership model. You switch to sharing, to the good, eco-friendly sharing. Now, that means, from now on, whenever you need to drive somewhere or you need to ride somewhere, you have to walk first. You need to find the vehicle independently, whether it's a car or a motorcycle or a scooter or a kick scooter or anything, you have to walk. In the rain, in my country, in the snow, from time to time, with your kids, with your luggage, with everything. Now ask yourself, and leave that answer to you, would you? Imagine an alternative scenario that we call car in 5 minutes, in which you order a vehicle with your app in your mobile phone, and within 5 minutes, the vehicle gets delivered to you, right at your doorstep, wherever you are. You jump in, you drive it, you enjoy it. Admit that, you still like driving things. And then you arrive at your destination, and the remote driver takes it away, delivers that to the next user. It's practical. You don't have to worry about the car, like in car sharing, like in scooter sharing, and any other form of shared mobility. It's fun to drive. A single vehicle can serve up to 30 users per day, so we are very good to the planet. We get rid of 30 individual cars. We remove 30 cars that crumple and use the precious urban space. We have more green spaces than parkings. And it is profitable. At the end of the day, 30 users pay the operator for using the vehicle. And at the same time, they save money they would otherwise have to spend on the insurance and all the costs which are related to the car. So we are eco-friendly in that model, and we are profitable too. We call this model car in 5 minutes, and it so happens that Triggo here, that is Triggo, is perfectly suited for that model. Now, about Triggo. Triggo is electric. It's small, although 2 persons. It is lightweight, so it's energy efficient. And it can be remotely operated. It can be very easily converted into remote operations, which we have demonstrated this year in January in Las Vegas, where out of our stand in Las Vegas, our guests were driving a vehicle that was located 9,000 kilometers, 6,000 miles away from Las Vegas. But there is much more than that. Between getting stuck in traffic jams and trying to find a place to park, we are wasting over 200 hours per year. That is 10 days. That is 10 days of your life, 10 24-hour days. And with Triggo, you don't. Why? Because Triggo deals with traffic jams in the same way as a motorcycle deals with it. It also parks in the way a motorcycle would park, and all that in safety and comfort. And I do not hesitate before using the word comfort. Yes, it is comfortable. In comfort of a car, typical of a car, with all the safety features that you would normally expect from a car. Now, many people tried to combine advantages of cars and motorcycles in one. Cars and scooters, cars and any form of two-wheelers that are efficient in terms of energy, that are efficient in terms of space. They all failed. But, strangely enough, at least for me, that was a surprise, nobody tried our trick. And our trick is that Triggo has 2 modes of operation. The narrow mode for low-speed operations, such as maneuvering on a parking or parking itself, or passing through traffic jams. In that configuration, Triggo is more narrow than many motorcycles, including my own motorcycle, and that by 22 centimeters. And each of those centimeters counts. That really counts in traffic. Now, for high-speed operations, Triggo moves to its fully expanded wide configuration, which we call cruise configuration, which secures stability at high speed. Now, the simple idea was born from my own experiences as a motorcyclist, many years of riding a motorcycle, including 3 motorcycling accidents that I survived. So I'm fully aware of how much time you save using a motorcycle. I also know how dangerous it can be from time to time. So Triggo is about saving time, Triggo is about saving lives, and Triggo is good for the planet and profitable too. Now, a couple of words about the company. We are past 7 rounds of private funding. We are past our IPO in Poland, Warsaw Stock Exchange. We have one huge asset, and that is patents granted for Triggo in countries inhabited by nearly 4 billion people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Rafał.
Thanks.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Wonderful to have you here. All right, 3 minutes for questions. Team.
Two quick questions. One of them is maybe more controversial. How is this better than a motorcycle in terms of efficiency? I was thinking about Paris and traffic jams because that's where I live, and I don't think I'd be able to move between cars with something like this. That's the first question. And second question, what's kind of the kind of timeline for regulatory approval?
Sorry, didn't get the second question.
Regulatory approval, are you allowed to,
Fair enough.
and when will you be allowed to?
Yeah,
Okay.
timeline.
In terms of passing traffic jams, well, that depends on the country. In nearly every country, it is more or less tolerated for the motorcyclists, scooter drivers to be passing traffic jams. In many places in the world, like California, for that matter, UK, even Germany, it is legally allowed. In some of the cities, it is encouraged to be using two-wheelers, which are dangerous, by the way, rather than cars, because at the end of the day, everybody profits. Both the city, less traffic jams, less problems with parking shortages. Unfortunately, the drawback is that some people fall victims of two-wheelers, and we have to face it. That is fact of life. Now, in terms of certification, this vehicle here, it belongs to our latest batch of prototypes. It is still pre-production pretty much. Our homologation process started. We expect to have the full certification for road legality by September-October timeframe, and that is going to apply all over Europe. We have already started processes in places like Southeast Asia, Singapore, where I think it's worth mentioning our vehicles are being tested in the role of firefighting first responders, so rescue vehicles by the local authorities.
If you could share any numbers of the pricing, if it's not too confidential, if you have them in the future sort of at scale, just very curious what the cost could potentially be, these type.
Right, so I am a huge believer in the model that we have just presented, so car in 5 minutes, combination of shared economy together with technological advance such as remote operations and sometime in the future also autonomy. So our core of the strategic business model is that very service. It is at the same time extremely profitable, and it is very eco-friendly. It ticks nearly all the boxes. It is not our intention to be selling Triggo directly to the individual users. Simply, they don't need to invest their money into the vehicle, and for us, organizing the whole chain of distribution is a challenge. We do have a number of institutional fleet B2B customers, and in their case, the price of Triggo is competitive to, say, French microcars.